Africa is one of the richest continents underneath the ground. And precisely for that reason, some might argue, we are one of the poorest continents above the ground. At a time when our brothers and sisters in the Horn of Africa are facing devastation as a result of the drought that is partly climate inspired, the time has come for us to show much greater solidarity as Africans to our brothers and sisters in the Horn of Africa. We must welcome and celebrate the fact that ordinary citizens across the continent have actually stepped forward to contribute towards the resources that are needed to help the millions of refugees that this crisis has spawned. However, African governments now must show much more leadership than they have shown over the last couple of months. African governments are able to find resources when they need it for acts of war, of luxury cars, of expenditure that is not life-saving critical expenditure. We must challenge our leadership on the continent to give substance now to the idea of African solutions for African problems. Yes, it is true that rich countries do have a responsibility to contribute. Rich countries have contributed to the tragedy of climate change, which is manifesting itself in various parts of the continent, and rich countries have to step up to the plate. But that does not mean that African governments can get away with the very small levels of contribution that they have actually put on the table so far. So we must appeal and put pressure on our governments to act with humanity, with compassion, and to give sense to the idea of Ubuntu. We should remind ourselves that when we say, I am because you are, what we are saying is that a human being is a human being only through the relationships with others. And this African proverb must now be given real meaning and substance, and we should all be having a view that it could have been us that is experiencing the drought, and those of us that are not affected, those of us that can contribute, must now step up to the plate as citizens, as business, but also we have to see real leadership by African governments and African political leaders. So we appeal to our leaders to act with the courage that the situation calls for, to act with generosity, and to act with a real purposefulness so that we can save lives and ensure that this famine is the last famine that takes place on the African continent. Asante sana. Thank you very much.